This is Guest Glimpse, our column expert, reflecting a moment of clarity from a fellow traveller.
Before my healing journey began, I didn't realise just how much I was carrying, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Chronic back pain had become a constant companion after a spinal injury and surgery. But for a long time, I thought strength meant pushing through, putting on a brave face and just getting on with it. But underneath, I was totally exhausted. I carried resentment, frustration, and a sense of having been let down by my body, by circumstances, and even by some of the people around me. What I didn't realise was that in holding on to all of that emotion, I was also holding on to the pain. My body was reflecting what was happening inside of me. One of the hardest things for me to face was the resentment I felt towards the surgeon who botched my first spinal fusion. And for a long time, I was angry, not just at him, but at the whole situation. I felt unheard, dismissed, and betrayed by a system that was supposed to help and heal me. It took me a while to understand that holding on to that anger was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to feel it. And the truth was, it was only hurting me. The moment I made peace with that, when I truly forgave and let go, my body responded. I could feel the whole energy shift. It was as though the physical and emotional pain were intertwined, and that forgiveness became the key that unlocked both. There came a point when I really had to stop, not just physically stop, but really stop and listen. And that was the turning point. Healing stopped being about fixing the pain and became about understanding it. And that's really where becoming the blueprint began for me, realizing that the way I healed myself could one day become a guide for others. I didn't know it then, but I was creating a foundation, a kind of energetic map for how to rebuild from the inside out. When I discovered Reiki and energy healing, it felt like being gently guided back to myself. It wasn't dramatic or instant. It was soft, subtle, and deeply supportive. Reiki reminded me that healing doesn't have to be forceful. And sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to just surrender and allow. When I was going through all the back pain and around the surgery time, I started journaling, tracking what I was taking and how I was feeling and what each day looked like. Over time, I realised I didn't want to rely on the medication to cope. I wanted to work with my body, not against it. So I made the decision to stop, quite abruptly at first, and then I turned fully towards self-healing. Reiki became my anchor. It helped me release what I'd been holding, layer by layer. And the healing happened for me on multiple levels. On the surface, it looked like back pain, but underneath it was processed emotion, fear, trauma, and that old belief that I had to hold everything together. As I let go of those emotions and stories, though, my body began to feel lighter, and interestingly, so did the people around me. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that mindset is everything, and life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about how we choose to meet it. Even when choices are hard, they're still choices, and I choose to live my life fully, even on the hard days. Some days are still easy and some are still challenging, but I always come back to this. I get to choose how I show up. And that choice, how I show up, that's the essence of becoming the blueprint for me. Because every time we choose differently, we rewrite what's possible, not just for ourselves, but for anyone watching. Reiki continues to teach me that healing is never just physical. It's emotional, it's spiritual, it's energetic. And when I slow down and listen, instead of pushing through, I catch those early nudges my body gives me now before things really escalate. And that's self-awareness in practice. Now, as a teacher and mentor, I share Reiki and other energy healing modalities in a no-fluff, down-to-earth way. I want others to experience that same sense of reconnection and to realise that they don't have to wait for a crisis before they start listening. Teaching children has been especially eye-opening, and the youngest child I've taught so far is a 5-year-old. What's beautiful about kids is that they don't yet have the build-up of emotional layers that the adults carry. They respond so naturally to energy work. It's a reminder of how innately connected we all are before life gets complicated. I often say that traditional medicine treats the symptoms while Reiki works with the whole body, mind, and energy, and the two can complement each other beautifully. These days, I still experience some physical pain, but it doesn't define me anymore. I focus on what I can do and not what I can't. I've learned that when I treat myself with compassion and listen to my body, I can live in alignment rather than resistance. Hi, I'm Michelle McIntyre, a Reiki Master Teacher, holistic educator, and founder of My Wellness Academy here in Perth, Western Australia. When I first reflected on what becoming the blueprint meant to me, I thought about my personal healing journey, the back injury, the pain, and how Reiki helped me rebuild from the inside out. But just recently, very recently in fact, I've realised there's another layer, one that's less about personal healing and more about professional integrity. I think once we start healing ourselves, we often reach a point where we can't ignore what still needs healing around us, the systems, perceptions, and structures that don't yet reflect the truth we've come to know. And that's where this new chapter of becoming the blueprint has become for me. It's no longer just about my healing anymore. It's about helping to heal the credibility of a modality that has helped thousands, not as a replacement for medical care, but as a complementary therapy to it, and how it could be helping so many more people. It's about showing that Reiki practitioners can be both heart-centered and professional, that we can collaborate with healthcare and not compete with it. Becoming the blueprint isn't about perfection. It's about having the courage to go first, to speak up and ask the questions, and to act when it would be so much easier to stay quiet. I'm not doing this to judge or criticize. I'm doing this to build the bridge that should already be there. It's about building the standards and structures that will hopefully allow Reiki to reclaim its rightful place in the wellness and health landscape. So yes, I'm still healing, I'm still learning and still becoming, but I'm also leading from a place that feels grounded, necessary, and true. Healing doesn't stop with me. When I began changing how I saw and responded to things, it had a ripple effect. Friendships moved, relationships shifted. The ripple effect went to the people around me as well. I stopped expecting others to know what I needed or to act how I thought they should. I realised that I can't change anyone else, but I can change how I show up, and that changes everything. Sometimes healing looks like silence, sometimes it's tears, and sometimes it's laughter. It's not always comfortable, but it's always revealing something that's ready to be seen. And every layer I've worked through has brought me closer to who I really am. And that's why I say the healing never really stops. Because as long as we're alive, we're learning, growing, and evolving. When I look back now, I realise that becoming the blueprint for me isn't about perfection or having it all figured out. It's about authenticity. It's about showing up even when things are messy and letting your journey become an example of what's possible when you lead from the heart. So for me, becoming the blueprint is about embodying what I've learned, living it, modelling it, and offering it to others in a way that's honest and human. Everything is energy, from the chair I'm sitting on to the thoughts I think. And the more we become aware of that energy, the more we work with it instead of against it, and the more freedom we find within ourselves. And that's what Reiki gave to me. That's what rebuilding from the inside out truly means for me. And the truth is, the healing never really stops. Each day brings new layers, new awareness, and new opportunities to grow. And that's the beauty of it. Healing isn't a destination. It's an ongoing relationship with ourselves. So thank you for listening and for holding space with me, and a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Mel Baker for inviting me to share my story on becoming the blueprint. If my journey encourages even one person to believe in their own ability to heal, then it's been worth sharing. Thank you.
This is Dr. Mel Baker, and you've been listening to Living Reflections, where truth is honoured and a sacred space is held. Until next time, may you find breath, clarity, and your own quiet return.